Yet again, it has probably been a month since I've filmed something. Been trying to get videos out. Hasn't really worked. Been super busy because it is Christmas time. So it's the 24th of December today. So Christmas Eve. Righto. Now, the winch has finally come. So we can continue with the winch mounting because, yeah, we need to mount that winch somehow, and I've chosen to go with this. Now, I have no idea where I left off from, so we're just going to go from here. So I've had a look at the winch and the winch in the bar by itself. Now, the way we were planning to do it, of sitting the winch blade on top, that's not going to work. The winch is too big for that. So what I'm thinking is, with this winch plate, winch cradle I should say, instead of sticking it in here like this, that's not going to work because the winch is too big to fit in that tiny gap. So we are going to have to cut it again. So this fits between here. Don't mind the cat in the background. So this is going to fit in here. We're going to have to weld some plates along here and that onto there as well. So that is the plan. So I'm going to get to cutting this up again. Okay, so we're down at the workshop now. I have cut this bit. Oh yeah, this is on the back of the ute, by the way. I've cut this bit and she fits nice and snug between those chassis rail bits while the crews are going past. Now we're going to weld it all the way along here and here and up here, and same on the other side. And then hopefully the winch still fits in there. I had a little go before, it just fits. So hopefully we can get this in again. Okay, so I finished all that welding. Now, I'm going to say this again, not a professional welder. My welds are definitely not the best. But there's some crappy welds in here and there's some good welds. But the main thing is the strength. So it's in there, it's welded. You can see I started up in here, real crappy welds there. Was still adjusting the welder, and then went up here, still adjusting, and probably got it pretty much adjusted halfway through there. But all of that I can see in here that there is penetration in there, so it has welded together. And by the time I got to the back side, pretty happy with those welds there. Just did short little bursts there to make it nice because they were really hot welds, because that is really thick steel. So that's what we did. So it's attached now. Gonna give it a little bit of a, a little bit of a wire brush, and then we're going to paint it so it doesn't rust and it looks better. So we'll do that, and then hopefully the winch will fit. Actually, we'll test if the winch fits first, and then we'll do it. Okay, I'm back. It is, what is it, the 27th? So I went away for Christmas, but I'm back. Now, winch fits. I had to do a bit of cutting in here, so get these terminals through, and just a bit of cutting in here. That's just duct tape to protect the knob, and also I had to cut that out so I could fit the bottom bit there, but it fits now. I was a little unhappy about having to cut that out and that, but you gotta do what you gotta do to make it fit. And my cat's back. But yeah, so now what I've got to do is I've got to saw a hole here so we can get to that clutch operation there, and then got to cut some big holes in the front of the bar so we can put the fair lead through. So I'm going to work on that. I'll probably film it for you guys, so yeah. Righto, so as you can see, hole is cut and drilled the holes for the fair lead to bolt into, and that's been cut as well. I'm just going to clean up the bar, and then I'm going to strip back sole section here because, well, the paint didn't really cure or dry nicely, so, and then we're going to spray it, respray it, because I kind of want it to look nice, and then we can fit that fair lead on the front and on the inside there, and then we can start putting the winch in. Okay, so while that paint's drying, we're going to talk about the winch. So basically, I bought this winch off 4-Drive Super Centre. Yes, it's a Dominator Extreme, I believe it's called, so it's like the newer model. There's not much difference between them. I went with this one because I know it was sort of going to fit, and it's slightly smaller in the height than the just the Dominator winch. Why did I go Dominator? Well, it was in the budget for one. I know I'm spending big on the patrol, so I didn't go all out on the winch because I just wanted something that was simple and that was going to work. Now I'm running the older model of this in the Hilux. I've had that for, I want to say, 3 years. I've had no issues with it, none at all. Now it's not as fast as the newer ones, but you don't really need speed unless you're doing comp racing or something like that. So yeah, this is going to do my needs nice and fine. Now, what I have found with these winches is before you put them in, it's important to open up the gearbox and spread that grease around, because I find from factory they just slop a bit in there and they don't spread it on the gears. So that's probably the ultimate failure of them. Not enough grease in there, or not enough, you know, put it on the gears. So we're going to open this up. I don't need to rotate the clutch, but if you need to rotate the clutch, which is this bit here, you can unbolt it and turn it however many you want to turn it. But we don't need to do that today. So we're just going to unbolt it, have a look in there, spread the grease around, maybe add some more grease if we need to. Okay, so I've shoved a heap more grease in there. I haven't spun it around yet. I'll do that soon because it's quite a messy job. But that's basically what I just needed to do, taking this part. Good morning, righto. So first of all, that rumbling you can hear in the background, oncoming thunderstorms. So I'm going to try and do this quickly. I was going to try and do this yesterday, but it rained, so that was a bit of a bummer. Righto, so today we're wiring up the winch on the bull bar. Now the winch isn't bolted down yet, so I can still move that around. Because the way I've made this, it's going to be a little bit tricky to wire this up just to get to those bolts, but we should be right. Righto, so first things first, you're going to find your control box here with all these cables, and you want to find where you want to mount it. Now, a lot of four-wheel drivers put them right in the middle between their spotties. I don't actually like the look of that. I mean, it's easy to put it there, it's easy to connect your winch controller into it, but that's not for me. I like to hide them. You'll notice in my Hilux you can't see it. It is tucked up in the bull bar. And we're going to do the same on this bull bar. So I'm thinking with this control box, we're going to tuck it in here somehow. We're going to run the wires over here, and then it should be easy enough to run them up to the battery, which is out at the moment. But yeah, so basically we're going to tuck it in about here in the bull bar. I'm going to run the cables up that we need to for the battery up through the grill and everything. That's why that's off, and that's why the battery is not in there and some things are missing. Also, I'm going to replace the washer bottle. Alright, so it's been a while, the rain has passed, had a massive storm and all that. Okay, so what I've done is I've hooked up all those terminals there. They're all on, they've got their little rubber boots on. I've hooked up the earth cables. You can see I've tidied them up here. And I've also bolted the winch down. There's just 4 bolts in there. And I've mounted my control box. I just had to make a bracket to go onto the back of the original bracket there. And it just tech screws into the side of the bar. It's nice and firm in there, and that's the point where we can plug in our controller. So that's awesome. Now we've got these earth lead and our power lead there. We still need to plug them in, but we'll do that when it's on the cart. Okay, so the bull bar is basically on. It's not bolted down. But the next step is I've just run these two cables through here, started zip tying them together so it's nice and tidy. Yes, these are blue zip ties. I don't know where I put my other black ones or white ones, so they're gonna have to do for now. Fancy dancy, I reckon. So basically, you got these two, wires straight from the winch. This is your negative. It goes on the negative, which is the minus sign, if you didn't know. And this one is your live power, so positive. You put that on there. So this is what I've got. So I've got the main power lead with the isolator there, right here, onto the positive battery terminal here. Now I haven't hooked up this because I probably won't start this car till tomorrow. But I've decided not to put the earth cable onto the battery earth. That's because I've decided to go the main earth off the engine here, because I think that's going to be a better earth and it's not going to be in the way or anything like that if I want to put other earth cables on this. So that should be good. And I've just tied it up with those cable ties like before. I might put another one around there just to secure it a bit nicer. And yeah, so now all we've got to do is we've got to do a couple of things with this winch rope, and we've got to actually bolt the bar on, because I've just kind of left it sitting there for now because I don't know, just being a bit lazy. Okay, so the bar is now bolted down. Now, I was thinking last night with the spotties, I was sitting them up there, and hard decision. And I think, I've got something in my eyeball. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this brackets off the spotties, because they're just cheap Kings ones. You saw me put them on like ages ago. I'm just gonna tack screw them on for now. I can always weld up the hole. But yeah, I was looking at it, I'm gonna have to take the winch out to put a bolt through it. So I thought if I just tack screw it, tack screws will hold it for now, just temporary, because I've got a trip coming up, or not this weekend because it's Saturday now, but next weekend in the Vic High Country for the weekend. So kind of gonna need them for that. So yeah, just gonna have to make it temporary for now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the King spotties on here. They are pretty good spotties for like lighting, but I don't know if I want to go other options like Supernova or Steady or anything like that, or if I want to go a light bar or something like that. But for now, I think we're just gonna tack screw those spotties on. We're just sitting right there on top of that drum, and yeah, hopefully it looks alright, because it's not fully flat up there, so we'll have to figure something out. Anyway, bar's bolted on, winch is in, winch works. Just got to check I wired up those lights the right way, and then it should be good to go. And we got to tension up that winch cable as well, so that will be interesting. And yeah, so we'll check those spotties on now. Seems a bit dodgy, kind of is a bit dodgy, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We're basically done. So you can see our wiring's done here, tidied up the engine bay a bit. You can see I've just done it by myself. I've replaced a couple of things, painted the air boxes and all that, put a new washer bottle in. But nonetheless, bull bar is done, spotlights are on now. All we have to do is tension up the winch, but that is next episode. and we'll probably do like a sort of a rundown of the rig where it stands in a couple of episodes. You can see it's lowered at the moment and it's got 33s on it. So it's at stock height with 33s because we had to go to get it roadworthy. So we had to put it back to standard. But anyway, we're going to put the lift in this afternoon and then she'll be back. But that is it for this episode on the GQ bull bar build. Next episode, we'll be tensioning that winch, which will be pretty easy. So it'll be a short episode. But thanks for sticking around, guys. Stay tuned for the build on this because it's going to get hectic pretty soon. And we have another episode of forward driving next weekend, so that will be awesome. So stick around for that and I'll catch you then. Cheers, guys.